Okay, guys, this is like your 1 to 2 minute last call. We're getting ready to start this team meeting. All righty. Are you guys ready? Give me a thumbs up. I see Kelly Wyatt at the front of the room. Southern Indiana ready? Well, stay up there, Kelly. Just stay right where you're at. Stay right where you're at because we are going to kick off our team meeting today by actually singing happy birthday. Today is a special day. Where's Rob? Oh, he's just in time. He's right at the front of the room. Oh my gosh, you guys, today is the actual day. It is Kelly Wyatt and Rob St. John's birthday. And you guys know me well enough to know that if it is your birthday on team meeting day, we're probably singing to somebody. So I want you guys to sing in your room. Well, actually, I don't want to sing this, but I guess I have to sing it. Okay, so here we go. One, two, three. Happy birthday to you. Are you guys singing? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kelly and Rob. Happy birthday to you. There you go. It has happened. You guys give them tons of love. These two incredible humans, I don't know in my entire career if I've seen anyone work as hard, pour as much heart and soul into our agent communities as Kelly and Rob does. And it's equal. They give it all. They put it all on the line. So please take a minute today and reach out to them and celebrate them. I truly believe this is going to be an amazing year ahead for both of you, and I'm excited to see all that happens in the next 12 months. So, happy birthday, guys! Okay, guys, we are going to kick off with Gary's letter. I know we do this every month, but there's always so much amazing insight in these letters. So if you're in the room and you want to scan the QR code, it will actually give you a printed version of this that you can read, not Gary's handwriting. But I am going to read the letter to you guys today, and so it's a little long, but we're going to do this. So, okay, so it's 5:30 in the morning, and here's what's on my mind. Responsibility. So I'm lying here in bed, and it feels like the weight of all my responsibilities are weighing on me, like a ton of bricks, so much that it feels like a pit is in my stomach, and it's filled with bricks. So what is going on? I have a lot of responsibilities. The strange thing is, I love being responsible and I love having responsibilities. I think of myself as a responsible person, both to myself and to others. And I think of myself as someone who can handle responsibilities responsibly. I've always thought of this as not only something good, but also something I'm proud of. So then why am I feeling off? I think maybe it's because responsibility is just another way of saying it's a to-do list. And when I really set with that, I realize that a big to-do list has a lot of weight to it, like real weight. So now I'm lying here asking myself, how should I think about all of this that's weighing on me? Is it the list? Is the list of things I'm responsible for a list of burdens? Is it a list of opportunities? Is it a little bit of both? And then my aha shows up. Responsibility equals freedom. If I'm responsible, then I'm essentially free to choose my actions, my level of actions, and the time I will commit to those actions. So this freedom really means that I'm in charge. And so that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Responsibility equals freedom, which equals I'm in charge. And I'll just add, that means you have some control over something, right? Like you have control of your life. But in charge of what exactly? I think it is, I'm in charge, so I'm free to handle my responsibilities as I see fit. Immediately, a powerful thought that explains the feelings that I'm feeling hit me. I think the one thing that's different here is that while I can choose my responsibilities, I also have responsibilities that choose me. And I'm pretty sure that's what's going on right now. All of a sudden, I've had a lot of responsibilities choose me. Honestly, I've never thought of it this way. And when I look up, my list of responsibilities has grown, but my plate was already full with what I already had on it. So where I once had a hill, I now have a mountain of responsibilities that I chose and that now chose me. So what do? How do you handle it? Well, you handle it responsibly. I've got this. I know what to do. I own them. I prioritize them. I look for hacks to get things done faster. I find leverage to partner some off, to partner on some and offload others. Just because I'm responsible for something getting done doesn't mean I'm the only one that needs to do it, personally or professionally. And so I had an aha, that's it, right? Start offloading some of the responsibilities to others. Start finding the people who can carry part of the load. Start trusting people more, start building more leverage. And as this thought settles in, the weight begins to lift. I'm not over responsibility. I'm under leveraged. I'm under leveraged. Shoot, I didn't see that coming, but I know what to do. Figure out what I should do, figure out what others can do, find those other people, empower them, and trust them. And then I smile because I know this is right. The pressure in my stomach eases, my breathing slows, the mountain starts looking like a molehill again. I grab Billy and I head to the gym. Onward, Gary. So, you guys, that's Gary's letter. He writes, they share one. I'm sure he writes one more than one time a month, but they give us the gift of one of these every month. And so hopefully you heard in that, hopefully what you heard in that was if you're feeling the weight of a lot of responsibility, there's probably an opportunity to identify leverage, right? And you know, Kelly's not on the screen, but I'm sure she's probably having the same coaching thought that I am, and we talk about this a lot. Um, every single one of you has a dollar per hour rate, a dollar per hour rate. Raise your hand, and I can see some of your rooms. Raise your hand if you know with crystal clear clarity what your dollar per hour rate is. Does anybody know that? I don't see any hands going up in Lexington. So I'm going to give you the formula, and then that's going to be your homework. Okay. So the formula to calculate a dollar per hour rate is you basically look at your last closed transaction. What was the gross commission income? So we'll do easy math. If the last file that you closed, the gross commission income was $10,000, that's kind of an average price, $10,000. You're going to divide that number by how many hours you spent working on that transaction. So, you know, if you think about, you know, on a listing, you may spend 5 hours, you may spend 10 hours. On a buyer, you may spend 10 hours or you may spend 15 or 20 hours, right? So I'm just going to use 15 hours, like as general math. I don't know if there's a science to this, but if I take $10,000 and I divide it by 15 hours, it's about $660 an hour as my dollar per hour rate. So you need to know your dollar per hour rate, because when we talk about leverage and we talk about responsibility and we think about what can we give away, generally you're going to start to give away things in your calendar that you could pay someone else to do for less than what it's costing you to do it. that make sense? Nod your head if that makes sense. So if you can pay someone to clean your house for less than $650 an hour, you may think about leveraging that off your plate and taking that time back so that you can rest and enjoy your time at home, or you can take that time and use it somewhere else. And I'm using the cleaning the house thing as an example because I literally coached a top producing agent at MAPS for about 30 days to get her to hire a house cleaner. True story. She would get on every single coaching call, frazzled out of her mind, exhausted. She was running a big business. She was a mom. She had a lot on her plate. And every week we would identify what was causing the stress. And the stress was she wasn't taking any time off. And I asked her, I said, why are you not taking time off? Can you get some time on the weekend? And she said, I spend all weekend long cleaning my house, doing laundry, cleaning the house. And I calculated with her the cost, and it was costing her, based on her dollar per hour rate, about $2,000 a week for that top producing agent to do her own laundry. Does that make sense? So we leveraged that off and she got her time back. And actually, interestingly, her production went up because she rested on the weekend and she showed up better during her week. Okay, so Gary, that's the letter for the week. I'm going to keep going. I saw Scott come in, so I've got a couple quick things and then we're going to get him started for you guys. This is Canva. So Keller Williams basically gave you all a Canva Pro account last summer. And what I'm finding is many of you are not using that account and you're still paying for your own Canva account. And guys, you've got a free resource. It's time for us to start using it. So how do we get to our Keller Williams Canva account? You're going to go to canva.kw.com and you're going to log in with your Keller Williams Command credentials, just like you would Command. And then I'm going to play this video. It's about a minute long, but here's the deal. We got to get all of the old collateral or files out of the account you've been paying for into your new free account. And that takes literally just minutes to do. Okay. So I'm going to play this video and we'll share it. Super easy. You're going to log in to your old account. You're going to go to your projects. You're going to find the project or the item you want to share. You're going to hit the three dots. And you're going to click share. And once you click share, you're going to share it to the profile name for your free Canva account with Keller Williams. And I think that is like your KWU ID at kw.com. You can find it when you log into that Canva account. Give edit access and then click share. Then you're going to log into the new account that's receiving the shared designs. You're going to see that bell. It's exactly what I did. You click on the bell, you click on the file, and then you're going to go to file, and you're going to make a copy of the file. And it will duplicate over all of your existing files into your new Canva account. Does that make sense? Somebody give me a thumbs up. So we can go move our files and you can close the old Canva account and you can turn it into a regular account and stop paying for it. I just gave you guys, this is the value of team meeting today. At least you just got back a couple $100 a year. Just gave you back about $150. So make sure you guys are on that. There's some amazing, beautiful designs through Michael Lewis Marketing Suite in your new account. And Keller Williams continues to add beautiful graphics and designs in there, and they will continue to do so. Okay, now here's another quick tip I want to give you guys. And we're going to actually start this in all of our offices July 1st. So you will see the 66-day challenge videos come out. I think our goal is to post those daily. Marty Miller put this together. This is his 10th run through. This is his 10th time, I think, in about 5 years. And it's about a 3 to 15-minute video daily. And the goal is to create a habit. And we create habits by doing things 66 days in a row. So the Command 66-day challenge is you're going to get up every day for 66 days. We're going to watch a Command video, which is a tech tip. And then we're going to learn how to utilize one of our most powerful tools to grow your business through this challenge. Okay. So that'll be coming out in July. And if you guys want to start sooner, this QR code takes you directly to that resource in the YouTube channel. All right, two or three quick things. Bo and I host every single summer a big summer event at our personal home here in Lexington. It used to be top 20% only, and we've decided to open it up and invite all of you. And my thought behind that is a lot of our top 20% don't come, and there are a lot of you that would like to come. And so we would love to host any one of you that would like to come hang out for the day. We live right here in Hamburg. It's July 18th. It's from 2 to 8 p.m. You can drop in and drop out. You can stay all day. You can swim. You don't have to swim, and you're welcome to bring a plus one. But we are going to do a potluck. So, have some fun. Make your favorite shareable yummy side or dessert and come out and hang out with us. It's all 4 locations, all 4 offices. So it's a great way to network and meet your core group community of agents across all of our offices. And then I wanted to highlight this. Buffy in our Southern Indiana office just traveled to Lexington and taught an incredible AI course. I see Oksana in the Lexington office, like she texted me a bunch during the day. Quite a few of you guys that attended the course thought this was a really great class. She is teaching that class. I think the class is it on the 30th? Yeah, it's on the 30th. So next Tuesday, it's from 10 to 2 o'clock there in Southern Indiana. If you guys would like to attend or re-attend for our Lexington agents, you can drive over. You just scan the QR code to get your ticket. And we would love for you guys to go out and support Buffy. But also, again, I was told this is kind of like a mini family reunion on AI. So if you didn't get to family reunion, you're going to get all the great family reunion training around AI in the classroom with Buffy. Okay. And then Mega Camp, you guys, is coming August 17th to the 20th. Registration is open. This is one of our big national conventions. I would also recommend finding a way to Mega Camp. You will absolutely cover the cost of the trip through a referral, an idea, or a business strategy that will level up your business for at least the next 6 months, if not for the future, right? So there will be a group of us going from all offices. And if you have questions, you can just chat with your local leadership team. So, all right, Scotty Toombs, I am 5 minutes early, but I would love to give you as much time as you will give us. Hello, my friend.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. I don't even really know how to intro you because you're so humble. And I told our crew here this morning, like, you guys, Scott Toombs, first of all, he's a Bold coach and has in the past been the director of Bold, I believe, like ran the whole Bold organization. But if I asked you all in the rooms and I could see you all to raise your hand, there would be many, many, many people that would say that Scott Toombs had a direct impact on their life. And I attended a Bold session in 2015 that Scott led. And I can literally go back to that Bold session in my life, and it completely changed the trajectory of my life. We wouldn't be on this call together today if that session hadn't happened and Scott hadn't spoke really clear truth and just possibility in a time that I needed it. So it is a gift to have him. And I'm so happy to have him. And I don't know if Brittany Fiore's in the room, but like so many of you just are incredibly grateful for Scott's impact. And also Kelly Wyatt wouldn't be in our world without Scott. So we are just super grateful for you, man. And thank you for giving this time. And I'm going to let you take it away. Do you need slides?
No, I don't. If there's any way possible, if you could pull down the slides so I can at least see the people. Oh, look at there. That's awesome. I can see the Commonwealth in Lexington, Kentucky. That's a decent group of people. So, yeah. Hey, Tar, first of all, thank you so much for all the kind words. I'm again, you and Bo have had such a huge impact on me. So I'm grateful. To be partners with y'all, to know you. You're just incredible people. Been very blessed to be with Keller Williams. So today I'm super excited. So I'll share with you. I've been working on a project for the last several months, and you're going to be the first people actually to hear anything from this project. And I wanted to share it in a place with people that I'm really, I'm glad to be associated. I live in Louisville, Kentucky. I, I love Kentucky. I'm not from Kentucky originally, but man, our home's been here for the last 13 years, and I couldn't figure out a better place. Even though we have Cincinnati involved, I live there too. So this is a phenomenal group of people to do this with. And here's what I took away. And by the way, I'm going to need participation. I know you can't talk because you're on, so you can just raise your hand, smile, whatever you need to do to make sure I understand that you're there. But I want to go back and ask you some questions as a group. In our industry and in our lives, do we have a lack of information? I hear AI. We've had the internet. We've been to school. There is a plethora of information. Knowing what to do almost on anything is not anymore a challenge. If you want to fix your car, you don't know how, you can literally go to YouTube, say, how do I fix this car? They send you a video on how to fix it. If you want to net $1 million in real estate, a book was written in 2002 that will literally show you the blueprint on how to net $1 million in our industry as a real estate agent. The do has, it's there, and it's there in abundance. So our project went around this concept of how do we truly live a full life? I mean, really be fully alive. And that's what I want to talk about over the next 25 minutes and share with you some of the concept and stories around this. So let me ask you this, and I know I can't hear you, but I want you to answer your question. What do you think the greatest tragedy in life is? I can tell you what some of the answers are. Most people say failure at something, embarrassment. There's a lot, maybe not succeeding at where you thought you were, maybe in a relationship. I challenge that by saying what most people say is what they are in their conscious presence now. I want you to go to this. What if the greatest tragedy is arriving at the end of your life, knowing that you still had more in the tank? You still had more potential within you that you never reached for. And you can call it a life of regret. I get that. I'm sure we're all going to have some type of regret. And yet, when we really look at it, what is that fear? What holds us back? If we know what to do, if there's a ton of knowledge out there on the action, what keeps us in place where we are? Well, there's a book that was written in 2012, and it's called The 5 Regrets of the Dying. It was written by a lady named Bronnie Ware. And if you've never read this book, Gary actually mentions it in the one thing in the last chapter. He said there's very few books that will require you to have tissue. And the reality of it is, it's honestly kind of a snot fest. I mean, you're not just like tearing up. I mean, you're wiping. And, she was a palliative nurse. She spent just a lot of her life beside people in their last hours and last days. And Bronnie started asking questions. What would you do differently, and what did you regret? And what she noticed was a pattern. She started getting this pattern of answers. And I'm not going to share all 5 with you, but I do want to share the number one regret of people who were on their deathbed. And it was that I didn't live a life true to myself. I lived a life that others expected of me. I didn't live a life true to myself. I lived a life that others expected of me. And so when we get this concept, we start diving into it, it makes me really wonder where the narratives have started. Okay? Where did the narrative start? Where is the comfort that you're in your life? And what I mean by that, how many of you, just by a show of hands, have ever had a fear of anything? Just raise your hand. Okay, perfect. And the ones that don't have their hands raised, that their fear is raising their hand. So we got you. Okay. The reality is that honestly and truly, we call it fear when I'm going to call it as comfort. It's what keeps us in the routine. I want you to write this down. About 12% of the population will get out of the income bracket it's born into. 12% will get out of the income bracket it's born into. Now, I didn't say they wouldn't make more money. Inflation has definitely increased the dollar amount, but we're talking about what they're born into, the category. And the number one reason, believe it or not, is not outside circumstances. It's the narrative that they've lived with that most of them didn't write themselves, and yet they continue to put out into the world and tell that story again. You see, there's a simple formula to life, and I think we approach it wrong all the time. It's the way that you think plus the actions that you take that gives you the outcome of your life. So believe it or not, it's how you think about real estate, and then it's the action you take in real estate that leads to the outcome that you have in real estate. Believe it or not, it's the way you think about your relationships, the actions that you take in your relationships that lead to the outcome of those relationships. By the way, it's how you think about happiness, the actions you take around it that lead to the happiness in your life. We've got to understand that formula, when we think and act, then at the end, that is the outcome. The outcome is uncontrollable. The way we think and the actions is 100% controllable. Have you ever noticed this? Okay, if I ask you to get up and walk a mile, where will you end up at? A mile. But if we just meditated, took classes on it, learned how to walk, we would still be nowhere. So the way that we think matters more than anything else, and then the action behind that. So when we look about this fully alive, I want us to understand it is not how much time that we have. It really isn't. The question you got to ask yourselves, are you being appropriate with the moment? So I'll share a story with you about narratives. And this is me. How many of you were in the first grade before? Raise your hand. If you're in the first grade. Most of y'all? Yeah, I'm from Alabama. It was questionable whether we got there or not. But I remember going to my first grade class in 1976. Now, I don't remember it very well because it was 1976. But I can tell you this, there were some memorable moments. Our elementary school was from first to fifth grade. I walked into my first grade class, super excited. You met all your new little 6-year-olds around you. We were having a great time. I think we were finger painting. And a lady comes to the door. She opens the door and she says, "Hey, can I get Scott?" Now, on your first day of class in the first grade, when you get picked out of a room, I felt super special. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. They're calling on me. So I walk to the door and she grabs my hand and she walks me out back and walks me to a trailer in the back of the school. And on the side of the trailer, it had a little wooden plaque. And on that plaque, it said LD. Now, I had no idea what LD meant at the time. So I was like, this is going to be super, super cool. I mean, I'm getting my own special trailer out in the back of the school. The reality is I learned that LD stood for learning disability. And at the time, I was born deaf in my left ear. I had a bunch of surgeries, but it wasn't correcting it. So I had a hard time reading and comprehending. And I also had undiagnosed dyslexia. So I was just very slow at reading. But I want you to imagine the narrative that got created over the next 5 years of every day, me having to walk out of class, walk to a trailer in the back of the school property that says LD. What do you think I'm starting to say to myself? What do you think my first grade buddies are starting to say about me? Do you think they're saying, oh my gosh, he's the smartest kid in class? So the reality is the narrative started being written at that moment. In the seventh grade, and it's not fun to tell, I failed the seventh grade. Now, I look at that in my mind, I run back. Could I have worked harder? Probably so. But I failed English all 4 quarters. F, 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 F. I was so embarrassed that I didn't tell any of my buddies the whole summer. I just played like nothing happened. And then when the school started back, they all went to the 8th grade pod. I just stayed in the 7th grade pod. What do you think the narrative is in my mind? I go to college. I get very fortunate because sometimes failures are absolute gifts. Because of the extra year in school, it allowed me to develop physically. And I got a football scholarship to go to college at Troy University. I went to college and I'm the first person in my family to go to college. And I was super excited. I remember this. I was going to take English 101. I did so bad on the ACT that they put me in remedial English, which is 090. I didn't even know they had that in college. You know, I was fortunate. I played football, so I knew everybody in the class, just wasn't mentally prepared for it. The reason why I give you this background is for so many years, that narrative kept me away from opportunity. It kept me quiet in rooms. It made me judge myself against others in rooms. I always thought that I was the least, I'll go and say it, the dumbest person in the room. And it kept me from raising my hand. It kept from me putting my ideas out for decades. It honestly kept me from taking opportunities that were right in front of me. And as I watched other people take them, all over a narrative that was created, honestly, because I had a hearing issue. Everything else after that was based on that narrative. Now, here's what I think is important, is that as an adult, do we get to control how we think? You can just raise your hand if yes, and then raise your other hand if you say no. You don't get to. Well, yeah, we of course get to write our own story now. We get to have the narrative. And I got to tell you, most narratives in your mind, like right now, how many of you have a voice that's talking to you in your head? Just raise your hand. If you do not have a voice talking to you, that's the people I worry about. If you're just sitting there blank-brained, that's a challenge. But most, because I'm talking to you right now and having a conversation with myself. So the reason why I bring this up, though, is that voice in our head. Sometimes we're like, man, this voice in my head is so great. But you have to understand the voice in your head is fighting for your comfort. It's protective. Did y'all know, like years and years and years ago, we used to have dinosaurs? And if you lived in a cave, the voice in your head would go, don't go out there. There are dinosaurs. Okay. That voice was working to protect you. Okay. That's a good voice. Like there's a dinosaur out there. Don't go. You saw Jurassic Park. Don't go. Right. But now we don't have dinosaurs. The voice in your head is literally fighting for comfort. And it's the reason people don't get out of the income bracket they're born into. It's the reason we see agents get in production, get to a level, and never go above it. We continue to fight for comfort. And I got to tell you, when we do that and we understand that you'll never outperform your thinking in your narrative. If your narrative is, I'm a $50,000 producer, I promise you, you will act, think, and do what a $50,000 producer does. If it's $1 million producer, you will act, think, and do what $1 million producer does. If it's a $5 million producer, whatever it is, you'll never, ever outperform it. And if you do, you'll self-sabotage yourself to get back into comfort. I don't know if you know this, but about 72% of people who win the lottery end up in debt within 36 months. They win the lottery, they receive millions of dollars, but they didn't become millionaires. And all they do, their mind does, is fight to get back to comfort. Living paycheck to paycheck is comfortable for some people. It's comfort, it's their habits. And our habits literally are where our comfort is. Do you know there's good habits and bad habits? Did y'all know this? You can just shake your head, yes. I can see you a little bit. So can I share something with you? Do me a favor. Raise your hand if you brushed your teeth this morning. Okay. Even if you didn't, this is a good time to lie. Just raise it anyways. Okay. Thank you. Good Lord. Yeah. That's one I want you to tell the fib. How many of you had to get up and struggle over the decision to brush your teeth? Like, did you take a couple of hours and write down the pros and cons of brushing your teeth? Did you need to call somebody and get support and go, listen, I'm about to go brush my teeth. What do you think? Should I brush them? You know what you probably did? You probably got up, brushed your teeth the same way you did the day before, and the day before, and the day before without thinking. Those are habits, and that's comfort, and that's a good habit. You know, getting up and you know, and if you do, I'm not a knock on this, but you know, maybe getting up and your first thing to be is to shoot tequila might not be a great habit. But yet they're habits, and we always go back to that comfort. So how do we take advantage of this? How do we stop this? This is what I want you to understand. This doesn't happen in one single moment. It's not a moment that happens that says, okay, this is how I'm going to be. What happens is we drift into average. And do you know what it takes to be great at drifting? It takes nothing. It takes no talent. It takes no effort. Drifting is what we naturally do. That is our comfort. Well, let me ask you, how many of you, just by a show of hands, had a financial goal that was greater in 2026 than your actual was in 2025? Just raise your hand. Did you want to make more money this year? Yes or no? Did you want to have better health this year? Yes or no? Did you want your relationships to get better or worse? Did you want your wealth to grow this year or go backwards? I think as humans, every single time we get up, we would choose better if it wasn't uncomfortable. I don't think any of you got up this year and said, hey, I hope I gain weight, I lose friends, my business goes down, and my wealth deteriorates. That was not our goal. I get that. But people drift into average. They drift on it by simply little choices they make every single day. And what happens is most of these choices you're making unconsciously. So how do we bring this unconscious to the conscious? How do we step into where we truly desire to be and where we're at? Well, I think one thing is you have to understand why you're doing something. Why are we doing something? Why are you working today? Is it to pay your bills? Is it to create a life that you dreamed about as an 8-year-old? Why are we doing this? When you discover why, I promise you, you will figure out every how. But when we're not secure on our why, if we don't get up with a little bit of tingle in our hiney, and we don't know why we're about to go do this, then I'm not sure if we're going to get through the obstacles that are ahead of us. So what is a why? Well, how many of you know your why? You know, Gary calls it a big why. How many of you know your why? It took me a long time. I'm just being completely transparent. It took me years because you know why? I wanted my why to sound good to you. I would meet people and they'd go, well, my why is to provide water to all the places that don't have water. And I'm like, good Lord, that's a good why. You know, like I want to make sure everybody can read. And I'm like, man, that's another good why. But I realized that apparently I don't care if everybody has water. I don't care if everybody reads. So me coming up with whys that sound good to other people was not getting me to do the things that I didn't want to do. It wasn't helping me get through the hurdles to change how I was thinking. My why got very, very simple very quickly. I've been married for 25 years. My wife is my why, and I will never say no to her. Period. And people go, well, that's super selfish. Well, without her, my life wouldn't be what it is today. And then I realized that I do not care what you think about my why. What you think about it has no impact on how it affects me. And as soon as I understood that, then everything else became easier. Every hurdle, every roadblock, every loss, every failure was all part of feeding that why. And there is very little how that you can go find that will get in front of a why. And we see this all the time. You've heard stories of grandmothers lifting cars off kids. Now, I don't know if that's true, but they're great stories. I'm going to assume it's true because the why was so powerful at the moment that their body did something they did not believe was possible. It probably wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the why at the moment. So when we understand why we're doing something, and nobody else has to care. And by the way, nobody is really thinking about you. Okay, so how many of you do you know the number one challenge with adult learning is? Does anybody know? I can't hear you, so I'll tell you. Is that adults want to look good and be right. Did you know that? Like we all get up and we want to look good and be right. Like I showered before I got on this call. You can't even smell me, but I did shower. Okay, I combed my hair, I brushed my teeth. I put a shirt on, buttoned it up. We want to look good and be right. Nobody got up today and said, let me put on my worst outfit. I hope it's super tight. I'm going to go rock it. They didn't. We want to look good and be right. It's the reason why we don't participate. It's the reason we don't ask questions. We want to look good and be right more than we want to be wealthy. We want to look good and be right more than we want to be happy. We want to look good and be right more than we actually want great businesses. That's what we'd rather do. But the moment you realize that nobody's thinking about you, and I can tell you, my parents gave me great lessons in life. But the greatest gift my mother gave me was one lesson. And again, I was born in 1970, so I'm an 80s kid in a way. And Michael Jackson was really big, and I'd bought a pair of parachute pants. Have y'all seen parachute pants? You know what parachute pants are? Okay. And if you know me, I wasn't built for parachute pants. So all the zippers didn't go up on the side, but I had a pair of red parachute pants and a white members only shirt that had little tassels. Now I'm in the 8th grade and I asked my mom, I go, are my friends going to make fun of me wearing this? And the answer was, yes, they absolutely are going to. I know this. They should. I would have made fun of me. But my mom gave me the greatest advice. She laughed and she says, you're so funny, Scott. And I go, well, what do you mean? She goes, you think people think about you. There's not one person that's going to think about you today. What they're going to think about was what are they wearing? Now, it took me several more years to understand the power of that one comment. But every one of you aren't thinking about me. You're thinking about you. You're not thinking about the person next to you. The greatest gift you can give yourself is the moment you realize that nobody in this world right now is thinking about you. That's true freedom. So when we work to look good and be right, it's imaginary and we're only doing it for ourselves. So I want to wind this down a little bit, and I want to get your thoughts and feedback if you have some. When we talk about fully alive, one of the things that keeps me up at night really is this fear of living less than what is possible. None of you were born average. Did you know none of your parents held you up and said when you were born and go, look at my average baby? Look at it, little average baby, little average toes. They didn't. You were the greatest little gift, the most perfect thing. You are exceptional. And then what happens is the world starts to come in and we start creating these narratives. And then, by the way, we create them, others create them, and we believe them. Either way, you have to understand that you can keep living in the stories of the past, or you can take the pen and start writing your story of the future. We get one life, just one opportunity to go through this. The most important thing that we can do is be appropriate with the moment. You've heard the saying, be where your feet are, but I think it's deeper than that. I really do. If you're going to be with your spouse, be with your spouse. If you're going to be at work, work. If you're going to be a leader, go lead. If you're going to serve, serve, and do it wholeheartedly. We have so much opportunity to put more into what we're doing, not always look for more to do. Go risk more. One of the things that I grew up being poor when you're young, having money in the bank is one of the most secure feelings in the world. I mean, it's like a warm blanket, like an electric blanket on a cold winter Kentucky night. That's what, I mean, I like to get my app and just look at money in there. Okay, because when you're poor, you don't have that. But the worst thing you can do is keep money in a bank instead of getting it out in the world and working. So, go risk a little bit more. Go serve more. Forgive faster from people. Dream bigger and stay curious about life. Most of our challenge is, I believe, we're waiting. I think we're waiting on the perfect circumstances, the perfect confidence, the perfect market, the perfect timing, the perfect haircut. All you'll do is wait. So my challenge for you is this. Number one, quit waiting. Quit negotiating. Quit living beneath what is possible for you in your life. Quit letting the old story and narratives creep into the future story and narrative. So take the trip, which, by the way, I'm so glad, Tara, that you're going on a trip soon, and Kelly. Start the business or go all into your business. Make the call, forgive the person. And I want you to write this down. Dream again. Dream like an 8-year-old. Don't put parameters on it. Go dream. If you want the car, go get the car. Dream about it. Make it happen. Love your family deeply, lead courageously, and serve generously. A fully alive life isn't measured by perfection. It's measured by engagement, courage, contributions, and presence. When this life is over, I want you to make sure there's nothing meaningful left undone. And make sure that the only thing you leave behind is an empty tank because you truly, fully lived your life. That's what I wish for everyone. Again, we don't have a skill problem, a what to do problem. We have a challenge on the mindset to do it. Every single thing you desire is in your reach. You're just going to have to go on the other side of comfort to grab it. And I trust every one of you are willing to do that. So, did you get value out of that at all, or did I just ramble for 25 minutes? And I prefer you lie to me.
We got value, Scott. We got value. Okay, I'm in a room. I'm in a room, and we've got a couple minutes. Do you want any questions, or anybody want to?
Sure, yeah. Something? Questions, takeaways, ahas.
Questions, takeaways, ahas. We know how to do that.
He's awesome. Yeah. The steps. Asking for the steps to get out of that mindset.
Scott, we got a question in Louisville. If you got a minute.
Sure.
All right, so Dana Smith is asking, what would you lay out steps in a game plan to get out of that mindset and ability to dream and think big and to live this life you're talking about?
So I think the question was, what are some of these skills, or you might have to go on mute. Yeah. Yeah, because you're getting
what are the steps to get out of that mindset so that you can move
Okay.
into that different
Yeah.
approach?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And are y'all getting the feedback? You might have to go on mute, Tara.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so the steps, and I wish I could sit here and lay out. You got to do this. 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 I can tell you though, I carry this around with me, 24 hours a day, and it's just a notebook, and it doesn't matter what it is. I usually find them, and it's the difference between going through life unconsciously and consciously. Okay. So you have to ask yourself on a daily basis, if what I'm about to do, am I consciously going to do it, or am I going to do it out of habit because I did it yesterday? It's asking those awakening questions consistently that help change the habit of what you choose to do. But it does take conscious. It's like any other habit that you're creating. Y'all did the 66-day around tech. For the next 66 days, instead of getting up and doing what you did the day before, get up and say and write down, here's what I'm going to do today that's different than what I've done in the past. Until it becomes a habit, it's always going to have to go from unconscious to conscious. I mean, it's so funny. I've been working on a health this year, and I'm very grateful. I'm down about 26 pounds, and my nutrition person said, Scott, your challenge isn't what you put in your mouth; is that you don't know what you put in your mouth. You just put it in there because you put it in there yesterday, and you've put it in there for the last 55 years. It's become unconscious. So I have to consciously now choose the foods I'm going to eat, prepare those foods that I'm going to eat, put those foods in front of me when it's time to eat, and then consciously eat those foods. Same thing with investing. Okay. If you have money, people always think that to invest, you have to have lots of money. $1 30 years from now is worth $77. Go get $1 working for you is a better return than on $0 working for you. It is not the amount, it's the habit on which we spend that money. And most people go to spend first instead of invest first. So it's just being conscious. And to be conscious, I think you have to have it down. Does that answer that question?
That's super helpful. Thank you, Scott.
Perfect.
I had a quick follow-up question on
Sure.
that transition from thinking, aligning with habits that are just comfort and getting out of that comfort zone. How do you speak with someone when they want to rely on this ability to hold themselves accountable? You mentioned your health journey. Like, how do you speak to someone when their belief is they just simply hold themselves accountable, and how do you get through and help them understand the ability of someone else holding that line for them and what that does for them?
Well, here's what's interesting. This has come up a lot in my life, and I maybe have even said those things myself. So just to be completely transparent, I had a coach one time. We talked about this, and he simply asked me the question, "How's that working for you?" If you don't like the outcomes you're having in your life now, and you continue to say that you're holding yourself accountable, those don't match up. It's like telling me you're going to turn right, but you turn left. Self-accountability, if you're doing it, then you're having the outcomes that you desire. There are very, very, very few people in this world that are wired for self-accountability. I mean, very few people. It is not the norm. And so everybody else, from professional athletes to CEOs to billionaires to us on this call, we go hire coaches or bring mentors into our lives that can help hold the accountability. And we're adults. Like, what are you going to do? Punish me? You're not. But accountability, though, is helping somebody figure out why this is important encouraging them all the way through, and then holding the mirror up in front of them. That's all accountability is. And if we could do it our own, I think we all would. We'd live in a dreamland. How many of you got your real estate license to be successful in real estate? Did anybody get their license to be broke? And the answer is no. Almost 923,000 agents last year did not sell a home. You tell me why over 50% of the homes being sold, there's a coach involved in something. Success leaves clues. Evidence is overwhelming. And I think as adults, when our kids come to us and say, I want to be a professional tennis player, and they're 8 years old, you go hire a tennis coach. If you want a better golf swing when you're a kid, you go do that. Anything. But as adults, when we have businesses that are worth millions and millions of dollars in potential, we don't want that. It doesn't make logical sense. So we know it's got to be an emotional decision. And again, when you figure out why, there's nothing you won't do. Nothing. There's no plane I won't get on. There's no conversation I won't have. There's no task that's too beneath me. There's no task that's too above me. I know why I'm doing this. And she lives in the house with me. Hope that helps.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott.
Perfect. Any other takeaways or ahas? And if not, I'll get out of your hair. I know it's 12:01.
I'm afraid to come off mute. We appreciate
That's okay.
you, man. Thank you so much.
Have a great trip. I appreciate you guys.